Ladies and gentlemen, to surprise you, the Honorable Prime Minister is already in the complex. He's being received by the Honorable Minister, Shri Dharmendra Pradhanji, and the Chairman Steering Committee, Shri B. Ashok. He's going to be first meeting the overseas ministers, and then he's going to be joining us in the hall. So once again, a request to all of you, kindly take your seats. Request you, please, ladies and gentlemen, no movement in the hall, please. Thank you. We now have our Honorable Overseas Ministers joining us. We extend them a very hearty welcome in the gathering. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi. Let's join in extending him a very hearty welcome in the gathering. Honorable Prime Minister, sir, and other distinguished dignitaries on the dais and off the dais, our esteemed guests, special invitees, and all the eminent delegates and participants, ladies and gentlemen. A pleasure to be welcoming all of you in the inaugural ceremony of Petrotech 2016, the flagship event of the Indian hydrocarbon sector, the 12th International Biennial Oil and Gas Conference and Exhibition, which is being organized under the aegis of Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, Government of India, by the Indian Oil Corporation Limited and the Petrotech Society. And if you see, ladies and gentlemen, this conference comes at a rather interesting juncture for India, when we are fast transcending from being a developing economy to now becoming a developed economy. Various visionary programs of our Honorable Prime Minister, be it the Make in India, the Skilled India, the Smart Cities, the Digital India, they're all transforming India into a new, vibrant and resurgent India, and foreseeing the huge demand of energy which is going to be required to fuel this growth. Our Honorable Prime Minister has already spelled out the need to have an Urja Kranti, an energy revolution which will not only address the energy security for the nation, but will also bring in energy inclusiveness for the 1.25 billion population of this country, with a tremendous promise of sustainable development. So as all of you, the who's who from the world of energy, join us today in this energy discourse for India and for the world at large, we are really glad that to lead us, to guide us, and to mentor us, we have the visionary global leader, our Prime Minister, Prime Minister Modi ji. So let's once again, ladies and gentlemen, join in expressing thanks to him for extending his dynamic leadership to Petrotech 2016. Thank you, Prime Minister, sir. And may I now request the Honorable Prime Minister to please inaugurate Petrotech 2016 as per the Indian traditions and customs by lighting the ceremonial lamp. May I also request the Honorable Minister, Shri Dharmendra Pradhanji, may I request the Chairman Steering Committee, Shri B. Ashok, to please join. So the auspicious inauguration of Petrotech 2016, thanking the Honorable Prime Minister. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to highlight here that in line with the Honorable Prime Minister's vision of Digital India, this time Petrotech has gone digital. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is a completely paperless event. It is a carbon neutral event, and there have been 10,000 saplings which have been planted towards it. Any information which you are seeking towards the conference, exhibition, the speakers, the program is all there on an app, and which you can access through a tablet which has been presented to you in your registration kits. And we would now like to present this tablet with the downloaded app to the Honorable Prime Minister. I would like to request the Honorable Minister, the Patron-in-Chief for Petrotech 2016, Shri Dharmendra Pradhanji, to kindly present this tablet to the Honorable Prime Minister. This app, ladies and gentlemen, is a complete Petrotech information repository, and one of the most exciting and engaging part of this app is the PetroBot. This is a chat bot. Any question, any query you have, you can shoot the question and pop comes the answer. That is how simple it is. Thank you to the Honorable Prime Minister. Ladies and gentlemen, we all know that India today is the third largest consumer of energy, and the demand for energy is going to be ever increasing. So foreseeing this, our Honorable Minister has already taken a lot many path-breaking and game-changing initiatives which have revolutionized the Indian energy landscape, adding more skill, speed and scale to it. So we now seek his further dynamic vision and the outlook which he has for the sector as I invite the Patron-in-Chief, Shri Dharmendra Pradhanji, for his welcome remarks.
Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, Chairman of Indian Oil and Petrotech Steering Committee Shri V. Ashok, Minister for Oil and Gas from various countries, ambassadors, high commissioners, CEO and experts in the field of oil and gas, distinguished guests, friends from media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to all. We are indeed honored to have such a distinguished participation in Petrotech 2016. It is equally a great honor that Honorable Prime Minister has spared his valuable time to inaugurate this flagship oil and gas event of India. Honorable Prime Minister always shows his keen interest on issues of energy justice and climate change. He has been a guiding force in evolution of a new energy policy which promise for green, reliable and affordable energy for all. He has also called for a saffron revolution, which means energy revolution in India. This edition of Petrotech is the largest ever in terms of participation of above 6,500 delegates, including 20 ministers-level representatives, head of international oil organizations, CEOs and experts. I welcome the ministers from Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan, Brazil, Cyprus, Chad, Colombia, Cameroon, Qatar, Iraq, Mauritius, Nepal, Nigeria, Sri Lanka, Sudan, South Sudan, Uganda, along with the Secretary General of OPEC, Secretary General of International Energy Forum, and President of International Gas Union. The Petrotech exhibition running concurrently has nearly 700 exhibitors from over 50 countries showcasing the latest technology offerings from leading Indian and foreign companies. In today's world, disruption has become a part of life. Thus, it has become imperative that we take time to reflect on the theme of this conference, hydrocarbons to fuel the future, choice and challenges. The conference goes beyond oil and gas and covers the overall landscape of energy sector. We have conceived Petrotech as a platform where policymakers, experts, CEOs, regulators and academics can exchange knowledge, expertise and experience. We live in a globalized world. Therefore, synergy in our efforts is very crucial. Friends, last week, the OPEC countries pledged to reduce their production by 1.2 million barrels a day. Non-OPEC countries also agreed a production cut to tune of 0.6 million barrels per day. The proposed cut caused a surge in oil price to above $50 a barrel, and speculation is rife that it might go up even further. It is a coincidence that we are meeting immediately after OPEC decision in India, which is a major oil-consuming economy. I want to submit before this August gathering that for the sustainability of the oil markets, we must strike a balance of interest between producers and consumers. In June last year, in an OPEC event, I had submitted the viewpoint of India. Consumption of petroleum products is price sensitive as there is a genuine issue of affordability for a sizable population in India and other developing countries. Hence, while deciding the pricing aspect of crude oil, it should be factored in that the security of supply must in tune be matched by security of demand. I take the example of India. We are already the third largest energy consumer in the world behind the US and China. At 4.3 million barrels per day, although we have a less than 5% share in the world consumption, but our annual consumption growth is far more significant. At 300,000 barrels per day growth, our contribution was about 30% of global growth in demand last year. We understand that energy is the most important catalyst for achieving sustained growth. In the modern world, access to the energy should be a fundamental right of each human being. This is particularly true for India, with a rapidly growing economy and a huge aspirational population. Honorable Prime Minister is committed to provide reliable and affordable energy in a time-bound manner to a large proportion of our population who still doesn't have access to energy. I have no hesitation to confess that the fall in oil price in the last 2 years come as a timely relief for Indian economy and consumers. This has helped us to increase penetration of cleaner fuel, replacing polluting biomass among the poorer segment of the society. All of you are familiar with the international projections about high growth rate in India energy consumption. This is a healthy aspect of India's development since the per capita energy consumption figure in India is one among the lowest in the world. I am sure similar is the story in other developing countries. However, higher oil price will risk this growth trajectory and deprive the unprivileged section of the society from access to energy. In India, hydrocarbon is likely to remain an important source of energy while the share of renewable will rise. The new government in India believes in integrated approach to energy security. We have set a target to generate 175,000 megawatt from renewable energy by 2022. We are also moving ahead on cleaner coal technologies and nuclear energy areas. However, despite increase in renewables, according to the International Energy Agency estimates, India will need investment worth of nearly 600 billion up to 2030. This provides ample opportunities for companies to invest in India across the hydrocarbon value chain. In March 2015, Honorable Prime Minister in the same venue set the target of decreasing our oil import dependency by 10% by 2022 when India celebrates its 75th years of independence. After doing the groundwork, we are now confident that we can achieve this. Government of India has taken several initiatives and reforms in upstream, midstream and downstream sectors. Among other measures, we have introduced investor-friendly hydrocarbon exploration licensing policy, program for tapping unconventional sources like CBM and gas hydrates, efforts towards increase of gas share in the energy mix from 6% to 15%, building gas pipelines and LNG regasification infrastructure, switching to VS6 norms, which are equivalent to Euro 6 emission norms by 2020 for reduction of vehicular emission, adoption of ethanol blending program, promotion of 2G ethanol and biodiesel program to develop alternate fuels. We are happy that result of recently concluded discovered small field bidding round have been very encouraging where 134 bids were received from 34 contract areas from 42 companies including 5 foreign companies. I would like to add that India is one of the very few places where long-term viable investment in all streams of oil and gas sector can be planned. In the light of India's commitment to COP21 and towards the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, the India government is multiplying green initiatives and reforms to decrease India's carbon footprint. The launch of Gas for India campaign in 2016 aims at the increasing use of gas as a clean fuel in our energy mix. Recently, Honorable Prime Minister has inaugurated the Pradhan Mantri Urja Ganga projects comprising the laying of 2,540 km long gas pipeline which will ensure supply of clean and eco-friendly fuel to eastern part of India. A large number of Indian households rely on biomass which leads to health hazards for women. Under Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, over $1.2 billion has been allotted to provide 50 million LPG connection to poor families. Our target is to extend the LPG connection to 75% of all households in next 3 years. We launched the highly successful DBT in LPG in January 2015, which has been recognized by the Guinness Book of World Records as the largest direct cash transfer scheme in the world. This scheme has brought transparency, eliminated multiple or duplicate connections, and also reduced leakage in subsidy. Petrotech this year will also witness participation of key Indian ministers and chief ministers of states who will provide their 360-degree perspectives. Every new edition of Petrotech tells a new story of rising India. It is pertinent that this year the tagline for the event is "Energy is here." I am sure the Petrotech will serve as a vibrant opportunity for all stakeholders to connect with this energy called India. I expect Petrotech 2016 will be an enriching experience for delegates, our distinguished guests and invitees. Thank you, friends.
Thank you, sir, for sharing with us the vision and the outlook which you have towards making energy available to all, accessible to all, and for a more sustainable growth of this sector. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you see, the theme of Petrotech 2016 has been very thoughtfully designed to reflect on the key issues and challenges facing the sector, also looking into the opportunities which are opening up in the wake of the new reforms and policies which have been introduced by the government, and also to chalk out the way forward for a more sustainable growth of this sector. We bring you more key insights into it through the conference theme film. Can we have the film, please?
India is at the nucleus of the global hydrocarbon industry, and it's on a rise at an exponential rate. As the third largest consumer of energy in the world, India is an attractive marketplace for international oil and gas investors and companies alike to partner and prosper. Despite being a net importer of crude oil, India has emerged as a net exporter of petroleum products through its world-class refineries designed for export, particularly in Gujarat on the west coast. Backed by new oil discoveries, the domestic oil output is anticipated to grow to 1 million barrels per day in financial year 2016. Programs like Make in India, Digital India, Skill India, Smart Cities, Startup India, LPG Direct Benefit Transfer, and many more are all being undertaken in mission mode to create a holistic and resurgent India. In all the three segments of the industry, numerous opportunities await India's bright future. The government of India envisages a complete re-engineering of the upstream sector. The new strategy focuses on enhancing domestic oil and gas production and bringing vital technology and investments from abroad. With the help of HELP, the forward-looking hydrocarbon exploration and licensing policy, we are attracting investments to explore more sources of energy. In addition, a new marginal fields policy introduced by the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas aims to bring into production 69 marginal oil and gas fields, freeing 89 million tons or $11 billion worth of reserves. India is also creating dedicated strategic underground crude oil storage reserves, which has led to the creation of the Indian Strategic Petroleum Reserves. With India's oil demand projected to grow manifold, major capacity expansions and new greenfield refineries are on the anvil. We are embarking upon an ambitious project of switching over to Euro 6 by April 2020 from the existing Euro 4. India is also a major exporter of refined petroleum products, including lubricants and petrochemicals. Sparking an innovation in this sector is the Numaligarh refinery of Assam, which is setting up a biorefinery to extract fuel-grade ethanol from bamboo, an idea whose time has truly come. India's cross-country network of pipelines, rightly termed the lifeline of the nation, crisscrosses the Indian terrain, transporting crude oil, petroleum products, and gas. The over 30,000 plus kilometer long network of underground highway, the 10th largest in the world, transports the refined products to desired destinations all over the subcontinental country. We're also home to the longest LPG pipeline in the world, the 1,270-kilometer long Jamnagar-Doni LPG pipeline. Soon, an additional 16,000 kilometers of pipelines will see the light of day, taking India into the top 5 in the world. With the increase increasing demand for natural gas in industries and households, gas distribution networks have been laid in a number of cities in the shortest time possible. India already has a natural gas pipelines network of over 16,200 kilometers. And in about 5 years, the network of trunk gas pipelines is expected to span over 30,000 kilometers. India is also one of the largest markets in the world for LPG consumption. LPG, as cooking gas, is being aggressively promoted in the rural countryside of India. Expansion in the bottling capacity and new LPG import terminals, as well as bulk LPG transportation, will witness more investment opportunities. With rapid urbanization, the fuel stations network is bound to witness a huge boom. For the last 2 years, the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas implemented an aggressive strategy with multiple reforms geared to meet the challenge of making energy accessible and affordable across the socio-economic divides. The Indian hydrocarbon sector is spreading its radiance beyond boundaries. Thanks to time-tested partnerships, getting a new energy bridge with the acquisition of 49.9% stake by Indian companies in Russia's Vankonneft, ensuring India's share of 3.2 million metric tons of oil, and 18 of various global energy partnerships. And we look for futuristic fortunes, innovative and adaptable latest technological advances to ensure time-bound and cost-effective solutions. The combined share of oil and gas in India's energy basket is expected to rise to 32% by the year 2040. India is poised to contribute to global growth. India presents a large and growing market, but India is much more than a market. India is a reliable partner, a source of high-quality scientific, engineering, and managerial talent. India is a land of a billion opportunities. The Indian oil and gas industry is a robust, responsible, and responsive framework of emerging opportunities and challenges. With fast-forward pace in the hydrocarbon sector, India stands committed to create a brighter tomorrow for its 1.25 billion people. To bring hope, to nurture life, to fuel the future. Energy is here. Welcome to Petrotech 2016.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the land of billion opportunities, and we are sure with all of you building bonds of equal partnerships, we are able to develop a more sustainable energy roadmap for the world with a focus on India. And now, ladies and gentlemen, seeking the strong mentoring and guidance of one of the most visionary, dynamic leaders of the 21st century, our Prime Minister Modi. Please join me as I request and invite the Honorable Prime Minister now for his inaugural address.
My colleague, Sri Dharmendra Pradhan ji, Oil and Gas Minister from overseas, CEOs and experts from the hydrocarbon sector, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Energy is a key driver of economic growth. Sustainable, stable, and reasonably priced energy is essential for the fruits of economic development to reach the bottom of the pyramid. Hydrocarbons will remain the most important source of energy for many years to come. Therefore, the theme of the conference, Hydrocarbons to Fuel the future. Choices and challenges is both apt and timely. India is today the world's fastest growing large economy. This growth has been supported by a series of policy measures. Our policies are focused on improving India's long-term economic and social prospects rather than on short-term headlines. Our efforts are showing results in terms of economic growth and development. Apart from fast growth, our economy has also been more stable than most others. While the global economy is going through a period of uncertainty, India has shown tremendous resilience. Our current account deficit has improved steadily and reached the decade low in the June quarter. Foreign direct investment in India was at the highest level in 2015-16 at a time when global FDI has fallen. According to the Bank of International Settlements, India is less vulnerable to banking distress among the major economies. India's economy is expected to grow fivefold by 2040. As per estimates, India is poised to account for 1/4 of the incremental global energy demand between 2013 and 2040. India is expected to consume more oil in 2040 than the whole of Europe. We expect manufacturing to account for 25% of GDP by 2022 against 16% now. Transport infrastructure is also expected to increase manifold. The commercial vehicle population of 13 million is projected to reach 56 million by 2040. In civil aviation, India is currently the 8th largest market in the world and set to become the world's 3rd largest by 2034. Growth in the aviation sector is expected to raise demand for aviation fuel 4 times by 2040. All this will affect energy demand. Friends, hydrocarbons will continue to play an important part in India's growth. The prospect of rapid growth places a large responsibility on India's energy sector. I am glad that so many participants from India and abroad have taken the time to come here. I'm sure all of us will benefit from the experience and expertise of each other. I take this opportunity to share with you some of my thoughts on the expectations from the hydrocarbon sector and our endeavor to achieve energy security. Energy in general and hydrocarbons in particular are an important part of my vision for India's future. India needs energy which is accessible to the poor. It needs efficiency in energy use. As a responsible global citizen, India is committed to combating climate change, curbing emissions, and ensuring a sustainable future. Given global uncertainties, India also needs energy security. Therefore, my vision for India's energy future has 4 pillars: energy access, energy efficiency, energy sustainability, energy security. Let me start with energy access. While some of India's rich are buying hybrid cars, many of India's poor are still buying firewood for cooking. Use of firewood and other biomass for cooking is a health hazard for rural poor women. It also reduces their productivity. We have launched the Ujjwala program to provide 50 million families with access to cooking gas. In one stroke, this program improves health, increases productivity, and reduces harmful emissions. The government bears the one-time cost of the connection, but the consumer pays the full price for the gas. This program has already provided nearly 10 million new connections in just 7 months. The government also aims to extend piped natural gas to 10 million houses over the next 5 years. We are committed to expanding the national gas grid network from its current length of 15,000 kilometers pipeline to 30,000 kilometers. We are building a new gas pipeline to the least developed eastern region, which will become the catalyst for millions of new jobs. We are working to ensure that every village in India has access to electricity by March 2018. Let me turn to energy efficiency. India's commercial transport sector has become skewed. An increasing proportion of goods is transported by road. To increase energy efficiency, my government has given the highest ever priority to the railways. We have stepped up public capital investment in railways by more than 100% between 2014-15 and 2016-17. We are completing dedicated freight corridors. We are constructing a high-speed rail corridor between Mumbai and Ahmedabad, which will be more energy efficient than air travel. We have given a big trust to waterways, both inland and coastal. Our Sagarmala project will connect the whole of India's long coastline. We have also opened up new inland shipping routes on large rivers. These steps will improve energy efficiency. The long-awaited legislation on a national goods and service tax has been passed. By removing physical barriers At state boundaries, GST will accelerate long-haul transport and further increase efficiency. Oil ministers from developing countries know the sensitivity of energy pricing. Despite this, we have decontrolled petrol and diesel prices. Cooking gas price is also determined by the market. To protect the vulnerable and the middle class, a subsidy is paid directly to 169 million bank accounts. This has eliminated leakages and misuse of cooking gas subsidies, resulting in large fiscal saving. These measures too have increased the efficiency of energy use. Energy sustainability, for me, is a sacred duty. It is something India does out of commitment, not out of compulsion. India has taken the lead in committing itself to a reduction of 33% in the carbon intensity of its GDP from its 2005 level over the next 15 years. We have done this despite our low starting point in per capita energy consumption. We also committed to produce 40% of our power from non-fossil fuel by 2030. I have set a massive target of 175 gigawatt of renewable energy by 2022. Thanks to our efforts, capacities have increased and prices of renewable energy have crushed. We have also given a big thrust to LED lights. CNG, LPG, and biofuels are cleaner fuels for the transportation sector. We need to explore options to produce biodiesel on barren lands, which will further provide financial assistance to farmers. R&D on second and third generation biofuels and fuel cells are required to meet the country's energy challenges. Let me now turn to energy security. We need to increase our domestic oil and gas production and reduce import dependence. I have set a target to reduce import dependence by 10% by 2022. This will have to be achieved during a period of increasing oil consumption. We have a strong investment-friendly policy framework in place to boost domestic hydrocarbon production. Almost 2 decades ago, India had reduced the new exploration licensing regime. This allowed 100% FDI and provided an opportunity to private players to come, invest, and operate in the Indian upstream sector. However, several factors adversely affected India's domestic oil and gas output. To make India a true investor-friendly destination, we have come up with a new hydrocarbon exploration and production policy. This provides for uniform license for exploration and production for all forms of hydrocarbons, including shale, oil and gas, and coal-bed methane. Open acreage policy allows bidders to choose the acreage they wish to explore. Revenue sharing model instead of profit sharing to reduce the scope of disputes. Marketing and pricing freedom for the crude oil and natural gas produced. Last year, we announced the new marginal field policy. Under this policy, 67 fields were offered for bidding. Together, these 67 fields are estimated to hold in place oil plus oil equivalent gas reserves of 89 million metric tons. The estimated recoverable reserves are of the order of 30 million metric tons. I understand that an encouraging response has been received to the bidding process, with several global companies participating. The downstream sector is now more open, creating a level playing field for all market players. The resulting competition will increase the efficiency and effectiveness of our marketing companies. Our proactive foreign policy and energy diplomacy is helping us to strengthen our ties with our neighboring countries. I hope that our oil and gas sector companies will take the opportunity to tie up with their foreign counterparts to explore for more equity oil. Recent acquisitions of hydrocarbon assets in Russia by investing $5.6 billion for 15 million tons of equity oil equivalent are one such instance. Indian energy companies must become multinational and work towards India, Middle East, India, Central Asia, and India, South Asia energy corridors. Natural gas is the next generation fossil fuel, cheaper and less polluting. We have given priority to move towards a gas-based economy. Effort must be made to increase natural gas production while also creating import infrastructure to meet the growing domestic demand. Natural gas will also have an important balancing role to play as India's renewable energy production rises. To provide balance and peaking power, gas-based power will be critical. Friends, to achieve this vision, we need to be very efficient in terms of project and resource management. This is an area that India needs to improve upon to remain competitive. This will not only improve our refining and processing efficiencies, but also ensure timely and efficient project completion. India has always been an inspiration for others in terms of intellectual capability and enterprise. I am confident that with initiatives like Make in India, Start Up India, Stand Up India, there will be opportunities for youth to venture into Indian oil and gas sector and to bring innovative ideas. Technology development is refining, nanotechnology, catalyst development, biofuel, and alternate energy are areas we need to focus upon. The successful development of INMAX technology by Indian Oil is an example of innovative thinking which is now on the commercial application stage. My message to global hydrocarbon companies is, we invite you to come and make in India. Our constant efforts have improved India's ranking in ease of doing business. Let me assure you that our commitment is strong and our motto is to replace red tape with red carpet. Friends, on one hand, to meet the increasing demand, we need affordable and reliable source of energy. Hydrocarbons will be an essential part of this mix. On the other hand, we must be sensitive towards the environment. I'm sure this August gathering will come up with innovative ideas in which hydrocarbons will continue to fuel the future in a more efficient and sustainable way. I assure you of full possible support from the government. I thank you for being here and becoming a part of the transformation of the energy sector in India. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much to the Honourable Prime Minister. Thank you, Prime Minister, for sharing your thoughts and considerations which we have towards making energy available to all, your strategic and meticulous planning and approach towards ensuring energy efficiency, your very determined commitment towards environment and energy sustainability, and your approach and guidance to the industry for ensuring energy security and collaborations and partnerships with the other countries. Thank you very much, sir, for your guidance and your encouraging message. Thank you, Prime Minister, sir. And ladies and gentlemen, as we now conclude this inaugural session, I would like to request the Chairman Steering Committee, the Chairman of the Indian Oil Corporation Limited, Shri B. Ashok, to kindly propose a vote of thanks.
Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji, Honorable Minister of State Independent Charge, Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, Shri Dharmendra Pradhan, Excellencies from partner countries, Excellencies from OPEC, IEA, IGU, Captains of the industry from India and abroad, senior members from various ministries, distinguished guests, speakers and invitees, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, Namaskar. On behalf of the hydrocarbon sector in India, it's my pleasant duty to propose a formal vote of thanks at this momentous occasion. We are extremely privileged and honored by the auspicious presence of the Honorable Prime Minister of India. Respected Prime Minister, your gracious presence here this morning has been a matter of special pride, inspiration, and encouragement for all of us in the oil and gas sector. It further strengthens our resolve and commitment to the nation of which we are an organic part. Earlier in the year, sir, you had dedicated to the nation India's most modern refinery at Paradeep and called it the Vikas Deep. Your encouraging words today will further energize us to propel the Indian oil and gas sector to its highest potential. India today is poised for a quantum jump to emerge as one of the major engines of global growth and thus claim its rightful place on the global stage. To meet this enormous challenge, the Indian energy sector as a whole is gearing to play its historic role in the ongoing transformation of the country. I am also deeply grateful to the Honorable Minister, Shri Dharmendra Pradhan, under whose energetic leadership the hydrocarbon sector in India is poised for a takeoff to stellar heights. The essential goal of the government is to eradicate energy poverty amongst our 1.25 billion people in order to fulfill their dreams of better standards of living. This lofty goal makes this 12th edition of Petrotech an extraordinary congregation of energy professionals, a global Urja Sangam that will herald a new dawn for the hydrocarbon sector in the country. The challenge before the Indian energy sector is daunting indeed, but with a committed and visionary leadership, nothing is impossible and a great future awaits the industry. As we embark on the path, the timeless words of the great savant, Swami Vivekananda, provides us with inspiration and energy. Don't look back, forward. Infinite energy, infinite enthusiasm, infinite daring, and infinite patience. Then alone can great deeds be accomplished. Esteemed Excellencies, guests, speakers, invitees, and friends from the media, once again, profuse thanks for your kind presence here this morning. Your presence and ideas will make Petrotech 2016 a highly successful and memorable event. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, sir. And once again, thanking the Honorable Prime Minister for guiding this Urja Sangam. Many thanks to the Honorable Prime Minister. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, to all of you also for joining us in this inaugural ceremony. Many congratulations to all of you. And